Welcome back to the DRO Bets channel, and we have reached week 2 of the 2025 MLS season. It was a good week 1 for us. Let's recap that, look at a few takeaways, and let's get into the 6 picks I have for the second week of the 2025 MLS season. All right, so looking back at week 1, it was a good week overall. We went 2-1 with our best bets. I was worried about Austin FC there. They were not creating a lot of chances against Sporting Kansas City. It looked like this game was destined to go 0-0. They clutched up. Osman Bukhari found a goal for us to get us the win there. And then I got to pat myself a little bit on the back for the San Jose call. That was absolutely sweat free. They destroyed Real Salt Lake. Then Chicago, what are you doing? You score an early goal, and then you absolutely gift Columbus some goals. That under was chalked after like 30 minutes, which is fine. At least we didn't have to sweat like a 90th minute loss. So we go 2-1. We make a little bit over a unit. I'm happy about that. And then 3 quick takeaways from week 1. Number 1, boy, I think we're going to be betting a lot of Atlanta overs this year, and maybe in a few minutes. Atlanta United just looks like they have so many pieces in attack. Latte Loth looks the real deal. Almiron, Saba, there's just too many pieces there. And then we saw they have plenty of great options they can bring off the bench as well to get late goals. Secondly, Austin, I think we're going to be taking a lot of unders in Austin FC home games this year. We saw this with Nico Estevez when he was the coach of FC Dallas. Their unders at home were cash cows. They do not have a lot of creativity in central midfield to get the ball from defense to attack. So unders seem to play there. And then also unders and Galaxy team totals, at least for the time being. They looked horrible on offense. They just don't have enough right now. They couldn't create chances even against an expansion team playing their first game. So those are my kind of 3 takeaways from week 1. Now, like I said, I've got 6 plays, 5 1-unit plays, 1 half-unit play. Let's get into it. All right, now we are going to start with the very first game of the weekend. Charlotte is going to be hosting Atlanta in an afternoon matinee, Charlotte's home opener, and we are going to take both teams to score and over 2.5 at plus 100, right at even odds. Now, first, let's get into Atlanta. As I mentioned already, they just have too many weapons in attack. I don't even think they played all that well offensively against Montreal. It looks like they're going to be taking some time to get all their pieces kind of gelled together. They have a new coach, and they still scored 3 goals. So I definitely, if Charlotte can keep them off the board, fair play to them. I don't see it happening. I think Atlanta's going to get multiple goals in this game. You may want to look at their team total over. And then let's go to Charlotte. Okay, they didn't create much against Seattle. Didn't look good offensively. But also Wilfred Zaha was a late scratch. I believe he had another child. Congratulations to him and his family. But against 50,000 plus, I think this is nearing a sellout in Charlotte. I've got to back Charlotte to at least score once. The over 2.5 in this game, just straight up, is minus 130 I'm seeing. I'll take the 30 cents difference to say that we don't get like a 3-0 here or something like that. And then if you want to take over 3, definitely don't hate that. I kind of like the Atlanta money line a little bit, but with the crowd and everything, I didn't want to back that. So we're going to take both teams to score and over 2.5 goals at plus 100. Next up, we are going to be fading a team that won in week 1 and backing a team that won in week 1 as we are taking FC Cincinnati on the draw no bet at plus 115 going to Philadelphia. Now, I'll caveat this by saying, FC Cincinnati plays midweek against Motagua. They beat them 4-1 in the first leg. I don't think that game has any impact on the lineups for Saturday. I do think a potential next round against Tigres, which would be next week, that could affect lineups. So you may want to wait to place this until lineups come out. I'm not too worried about it. I already placed it, but I simply don't understand this line. I think FC Cincinnati is the best team in the league. If you give me plus money, draw no bet in almost any game this season, regardless of who they're playing outside of maybe 2 or 3 teams, I'm going to go ahead and take that against the Philadelphia team that I think this line is a big overreaction to what they did against Orlando. Anyone who watched that game know that Orlando was their biggest enemy in that match. I don't think Philadelphia is that good. You're giving me plus money at Cincinnati to not lose here. If they draw, we don't lose any money. And if they win, obviously, we win our bet. So I'm going to be taking FC Cincinnati here. Draw no bet, full unit, plus 115. Next up, we are going to back a team that lost last weekend, and we are going to back CF Montreal. Plus 1 goal on the goal line, minus 105, playing at Minnesota. So Montreal, if they lose by 1 goal, it's a push. If they win or draw, we win our bet. Now, I thought Montreal actually played really well against Atlanta last week. They created 6 chances of 0.15 XG to Atlanta's 4. They actually outproduced Atlanta in that match. Laurent Courtois, in his second year as head coach, I think he really has them playing the way he wants them to. And then if you watch that LAFC versus Minnesota game, I watched all 90 minutes. Minnesota is really missing creativity in midfield, similar to Austin, actually. They have plenty of players who can kind of create their own shot, but they don't have a lot of guys that can create shots for others. And to lose this bet, Minnesota has to score 2 goals. And I'm not even sure they do that. And even if they do, I think Montreal is going to get on the board here. So Montreal +1 on the goal line, -110 or -105 is going to be the next bet. Now, y'all are not going to like this third play. We are going back to a team that burned us last week, the Chicago Fire. Don't worry, though. We're not backing their defense. We are putting a half unit on the Chicago Fire team total over 1.5 coming in at -110. So while the Fire were shipping goals against Columbus, their offense actually looked pretty good. I thought Jonathan Bamba was exactly what the Fire have been looking for a long time. He created 8 shot creating actions. He had 2 assists. He was everywhere for the Fire. I really like their offense. And then DC United, their defense looked abysmal against Toronto FC. They gave up a lot of chances to what I think is one of the worst teams in the league. And then their goalkeeper, they signed a 21-year-old goalkeeper named Kim Jun Hong, a South Korean. He did not look up to the part in MLS. He looks like he's got a mistake in him at any point. So we're not going to back their defense, and I'm not going to back the Fire money line because we saw I'm not going to lose in that fashion. I'm going to take the Fire to score over 1.5 goals, -110 half unit. Our fifth play today, we are going to go back to a team that did really well for us last week. We are taking San Jose on the double chance to win or draw at -115 playing in Sporting Kansas City. Now, I'm going to tell you straight away, I really think there's only 5 or 6 teams in the league that if San Jose is playing them and you're giving me the double chance at near even money, that I'm not going to take that. Because I think if we look back at the end of 2025, I only think the Quakes lose maybe like 10 games this year. Call me crazy, but I think they are going to get a lot of results. And if you look at their game on Saturday against RSL, while the XG was 2.1 to 1.5, almost half of that came in stoppage time of the second half for RSL when the game was already 4-0. The Quakes destroyed them in every capacity. Couldn't get a goal, Chicho Arango. And now they are going to Sporting Kansas City, who is playing on short rest. Remember, Sporting is playing at Inter Miami in CONCACAF Champions Cup on Tuesday. But I just think San Jose is a better team than Sporting Kansas City. So if you're giving me the double chance at -115, I'm going to take it. I actually locked this in right when the line came out at +102. So this has already moved some. You're probably going to want to go ahead and place this one if you'd like it. But that is going to be the next 1-unit play. All right, you made it to the end. Appreciate you getting through all 6 of our picks. And the last pick of the video is going to be in the last game of the MLS weekend. I'm enjoying this Sunday night soccer. I love having plays on this, but I would be playing this regardless of when this game was this weekend. Inter Miami, draw no bet, -102. Now, Inter Miami, as I just mentioned, they are in CONCACAF Champions Cup hosting Sporting Kansas City, but that game is on Tuesday night. This game is on Sunday night. I don't really take that into account at all. 5 days rest. And then you look, if Inter Miami does get past Sporting Kansas City, they will play Cavalier of Jamaica in the next round, who they can probably beat with their eyes closed. So I don't think they're going to be adjusting their lineup too much. I would expect pretty much full starters. It's obviously on grass in Houston. And in what world is Miami draw no bet basically even money against a Houston team that shipped 2 terrible goals to Dallas last week? They just sold their best center back to Brazil. They are a team in flux right now. I think at this moment, they're probably one of the 5 worst teams in MLS. And you're giving me basically even money for Miami to not lose. Obviously, if they draw, we get our money back. If they win, we win our bet. I don't think this one is terribly complicated. I think this is a pretty chalky play that's straightforward, but give me Inter Miami, draw no bet, -102 for a full unit. So those are my 6 picks that I have locked in. I do think New England is probably undervalued against Columbus. I think that line may get wider, though, so I'm going to wait on that one. And then I think looking at the initial line, Seattle might be a little bit undervalued against Real Salt Lake, but they both play in CONCACAF Champions Cup on Wednesday. You can't place a bet without seeing what happens in that match with potential injuries, etc. So those are my 6 plays. Let me know in the comments, which ones do you like? What are you tailing? What are you fading? Is there anything I missed here? Don't forget to give me the thumbs up. Go ahead and subscribe to the channel to be notified every time a new video comes out. We know these lines move quick. Thank you for watching, and we will catch you next time.